Welcome to Newrealities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and part of this program is about finding out the current trends. What's happening? How are people waking up to this divine essence? And it's happening more and more, and that is why I'm really happy I am here with two lovely women who, 2 or 3 years ago, knew nothing about spirituality, awakening.
Right.
And now they're like masters. They have something's happened to them. I'm talking to Ali Storm and Val and Ali, and both of them had these Kundalini awakenings.
Yes.
They're what I call Shakti cases.
Yeah, that's what he calls us.
No, because they have a lot of energy going through them, like overnight. Well, go ahead.
We were both, very much in the fashion world, not spiritual seekers at all. And for me, I was, very much not knowing anything about consciousness.
Or energy or spirituality.
No, energy, I didn't know what a chakra was.
Neither did I.
You had no idea what a chakra was.
I had no idea. I didn't know anything about meditation. I remember I went to the YMCA with my sister and we sat there. She goes, "Come, it's good. Meditation's good for you." I was like, oh, okay. We went and I was laughing the whole time.
But were you Catholic though before that?
Yes, my family is Catholic Italian.
And I also grew up Catholic.
But so did that turn you off from like anything spiritual or religious?
No.
I just was not into anything.
Same
I
here.
was very actually narcissistic.
So what happened?
And I was agnostic, I would
You
say.
were agnostic, narcissistic.
I was pretty much agnostic as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so something very dramatic happened, and I think it's phenomenal. So
Yeah.
let's dive in.
Well, it happened about first.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it did happen to you first.
It happened to me December 12th, 2010.
And I was there.
That's right.
I was there,
Yeah.
and it was a workshop with a guy named Abdi who does
Yes.
energy transfers,
Yes.
and
He works with Christ energy.
whatever, but he
Christ
sends energy into it. I mean,
Yes.
whatever the energy is,
Yes.
I feel it. My body goes through waves, but you didn't know it. How did you get there?
Okay, so Ashim,
Who's a good friend of mine.
who's a good friend of yours, he invited me through Facebook, and I had just broken up with a boyfriend, and he sent me, "Hey, come to this thing. It's whatever." I didn't even read what he wrote. That's it was
He
like
just
just
said,
a
"Come
soul
to the
calling.
thing."
And I went. He goes, "Bring your friends. It's good for you. It's transformative." I was like, "Oh, okay, I need that. Whatever it is, I'm going." I didn't even read the whole email, and so my sister and my mom came with me, and we ended up at this dance studio, and I'm looking around like, whoa, what are these people? They're like a bunch of hippies, and they're
Right,
like
in yoga mats.
pants and yoga mat. I'm like, whoa, where am I? This is me. Like, I used to go to like parties at Cipriani and dance on tables. Like that's not my style.
And you had a television show, and you were on and you were
Right,
very
yes.
materialistic. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say that. Is it?
Narcissistic.
Narcissistic, materialistic, agnostic.
I was
Okay.
very much into the material world.
Okay.
And the moment I got there, I'm looking at people's shoes or the non-shoes. I was like, what? Holes in their socks. I was like, whoa, what is going on?
I think that was me. No.
So eventually, when we laid down, I says, I'm just gonna go around the room, and I might say something at the end, I might not. Okay, fine. What? I thought it was going to be a seminar.
Right. And he comes around to each person, looks at them, and something happens.
And
They
something
like
happens.
fall over, but something more than something happened to you.
Something more. My mother, my sister laid down first, then my mother, then me. I could feel Abdi from where he was standing with my sister already. I already started to feel nervous, and I know now the feeling, but I can already feel the energy coming inside of me.
And you never
But
felt anything like that before, right?
No. But as soon as he came up to me, I think he blew on my face. I don't know. He doesn't remember, but I felt like some wind on my face, and all of a sudden I just fell back. Like I couldn't. That was it. I was gone. And then he started from my toes, and it was like your typical Kundalini, awakening.
Well, say what that is, because I don't think people...
he, from my tippy toes, started, and then gradually moving up to my knees, and then finally hitting my root chakra. And in that root chakra, I had an experience in that chakra.
What do you mean?
So
Was it like an orgasmic experience?
no. So it was very much about my family. It had a lot to do with like everything. Like I saw my birth. I saw all these things going on. Like it was like flashes of like a movie. It was a movie. Then I got to my sacral chakra, and I had a lot of healings in my relationships with boyfriends and
In that moment, you were laying on the ground.
Yes. So mind you, Abdi sessions are 2 hours long.
I know, but
okay? So it took 2 hours for me to have this. So in every chakra, I had an experience.
But show us what was happening, because she was bouncing off the floor. So show us, just can you show us what was happening to your body?
I mean, I could actually go into that state.
Go ahead, go into that state. I mean, we'll get Ali to go into
I would probably have to lay down.
No, we don't have time. Just go into it here, like in a second. Pull that energy
All
in.
right.
And show us, this is Val pulling in the Kundalini energy, and I feel it now too. I feel an increase in the field.
So
pull it up, breathe it up. Okay. Now just try breathing it up. Okay. Can you describe what's happening for you?
It's very difficult to talk.
Try, because we're communicating.
So energy is pulled from my root chakra and goes up and to my spine like a force, and it just moves my whole body. It shakes my body like I'm being electrocuted.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Is it still moving?
It's still doing something.
Would you say it's orgasmic? It looks sort of orgasmic.
It is. It is.
It is orgasmic, but it's not sexually active.
Well, actually, Kundalini is sexual energy.
But it's moving beyond the second chakra up, right? Did you feel that when it went like that?
I'm like on a high right now.
Okay, that's good. Keep that energy going. Can you hold that energy while we get Ali activated?
Why not?
Do you feel what's happening?
Yeah,
What are you feeling?
I just feel the energy moving through me. I feel energy all the time.
Yes, me
I
too.
know.
It's all the time, and it can increase or decrease based on where I am or what I'm doing. It's basically a vibration. It's almost like a response to my emotions in a way.
But okay, so Val had stay there with us. But Val had that state with Abdi, who's an amazing healer who blew but you had a very different awakening.
Yeah. So I was similar to Val in that I wasn't a spiritual seeker, but I had a really interesting experience because I had an awakening through a book. And the book actually is an energetic transmission.
I Am the Word is the book by Paul. He's channeled book.
It's channeled literature, and I, like Val, I had no idea anything about this stuff, and a friend came up to me on the street, and I definitely wasn't into reading books when this happened.
Me neither. I was not into reading books.
A friend a stranger at the time, now a friend, came up to me on the street, and he gave me the book. He said he intuitively knew that I was supposed to read this book.
Wow, that's pretty
Beautiful.
good.
Yeah, and for some reason, I intuitively trusted him, and he started talking about it, and he's like, listen, I'm going to give you my copy. I really feel like you should have it. Mm-hmm. So I took the book home, and I started reading it, and within the first chapter, I started to feel energy for the first time.
That was totally new for you.
Totally new.
Like it was new for you.
I mean, I didn't know what was going on. I thought, this is really weird.
When you say you felt it, what do you actually feel when you feel energy?
Well, I can actually remember the very first moment, because it was actually the very first moment was almost psychedelic for me.
Tell us.
Like, it was like the whole room was like starting to breathe in and out, and I could things were like the room was like the
Did you
floor.
think you were going crazy?
Yeah,
amazing.
You did.
I did think I was
did.
going crazy, but it felt good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Huh. So I was like, should I keep doing this or not? But I did. I kept doing it, and I started having out-of-body dreams.
Just by reading the book?
Just by reading this book.
Do you remember what it even said?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
because
okay.
But I mean, it's channeled literature, and these guides that are being channeled are really welcoming us to their teachings, and it's also they're imprinting us with this energy in our consciousness field, and they're really welcoming us into this whole planetary shift right now. And
but that was totally new for you to even talk like that.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about a planetary
You would never have
shift.
even.
No, I mean, the word consciousness would not come out of my mouth.
It would.
It just
and suddenly you started seeing.
But I have to say something. When I was reading the book for the first time, and I had these experiences of energy coming through me, my chakras were opening so much. I would have like vast amounts of love running through me. Vast. Like it was like magnificent. It was endless. And I had this deep, deep sense of knowing that whatever was happening to me, it was something big, and it was something that was going to happen to many people.
Really?
I knew that deep in my heart. I didn't know anything about a consciousness movement. I didn't know anything about a shift, but I knew deep in my heart that what was happening to me was going to happen to many, many, many people.
You knew that the first time?
Within the first week.
But thank you for saying that, because I think what's happened to you both, and we can finish your story, but I think what you said before the show is like, you didn't meditate, you weren't on a spiritual path, you weren't like even thinking about, and then boom.
Boom.
Right. So,
boom.
So actually I wanted to get into that. Like people are so, first of all, they're always scared of what they don't know, right? So getting into a yoga class or even talking about Kundalini, like they're just like, whoa, like that's, what are you talking about? Energy but when it happens to you, automatically you just remember.
You remember. That's your soul that is waiting for you to wake up.
Yes.
And
your soul knows. And I want to say something on that note, because as I was going through this experience, a girl living in the East Village in the city and fashion and all that kind of stuff, I became reclusive because I was so into this energy work. And as I was doing this, my personality self was saying, Ali, like, go get a life. Go out to dinner. Like, what happened to going to brunch? But my soul was in exaltation.
That's amazing because people spend years trying to understand the difference between the personality and the soul.
Right.
Yes.
And there you had your own like private lesson. You too.
It's true.
There was a separation for you,
Absolutely.
awareness of, and we still function out of our personality. And we're, even if we've done this, we're still aware that there's this higher part of us as well.
Right.
So what happened then? I mean, but before I get there, what do you think is happening to the planet? Are people?
Yes.
So I was getting into that.
Yeah.
So then when people remember, there's an automatic shift, and through that shift, it's almost like they forgot who they were, and
forgot the personality part.
Right. And so actually, for every person that wakes up, it's like a domino effect. It affects their whole surroundings, their family or their friends or their groups, the people that they hang out with. They're like a light bulb. So I mean,
lighting other people, or at least planting the seed.
Yes,
right?
planting seeds. I mean, even just words, looking at a gaze, just that connection, that little connection with a soul-to-soul connection, that's all it takes. And eventually...
It happened between us.
Right.
What do you mean it happened between you?
This soul-to-soul connection, pretty instant, right?
Well, because you both had this awakening.
Yes.
Right. Well, actually, when you are awakened, you gravitate towards each other. You're almost like two magnets or two energy.
And you're also for the people who aren't awakened. When you're looking at them, you're looking for their soul.
Yes.
And you're giving them like a little stimulation of a soul awakening.
Yes, and they don't even know what's going on. So what ends up happening is people actually get either angry, anxious, upset. all their shit comes out. Can I say that?
You could say whatever you want. Yes.
You know what I mean?
If that's what's happening.
And they don't know why. They have no idea why. And so you're almost like their catalyst, but they have no idea why you are.
Well, when you said you saw everyone happening, awakening to this, what were you seeing? What and do you see it now?
You know, it's funny because it was a vision, and it was actually, you know, through this experience, I knew I had been left with this energetic gift, but this vision was more important to me, and it became my real passion because I knew this conjoining of people was going to be what was going to propel humanity forward.
Wow. Wait, that is just beautiful. Let me just take that in. That is really beautifully said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I'm very impressed with Ali. So I had you know, this awakening 4 years ago, and it took me a while to understand. But what I'm noticing is how, in time, you know, through the years, if people are awakening, it takes them much shorter to get it.
I think the planet itself is shifting a vibration that is allowing this soul energy to happen, awaken.
And it's exponential.
What do you mean?
It's exponential. It's happening faster.
Yes,
Right,
that's what I'm
thank
trying to
you.
say.
Thank you.
It's happening faster
happening
for
faster.
all the individuals.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. So, but you saw what? Sorry.
So I had this vision, and I mean, like I said, I knew that it was going to be many, many people, and I held on to that deep in my heart. Like it was something deep. And then my energetic, you know, opening continued for a while. I had the Kundalini rising on 12-12-12, exactly 2 years after.
And you had it on
12-10.
2 years. Is there a energy in that
There is.
time?
There is, but at the time I didn't know it.
Right.
I had no idea, and I thought I was channeling because I didn't know what Kundalini was.
Right.
Well, you would come to me because I knew you in the kind of beginning stages, and I kept encouraging you that everything's fine, right?
Right.
I mean, I kept saying you're
Which-
not going crazy. You're awakening.
Yes.
Which is very much needed for these people that are awakening so fast and they're getting all these downloads and upgrades so fast. They need that support.
They
So actually,
do.
this
Huge.
conversation here is key.
For people watching
Yes.
and
Yes.
And especially young people, because you know there's no role models for us to look to. You know, there's not there's spiritual teachers, there's gurus, but that day is kind of over.
It is. It's completely over. You guys didn't have any of that.
Right.
And it's so refreshing
Right.
because you don't have to meditate for you. You don't have to say mantras. You
Right.
don't have to stare at pictures on
Right.
a wall.
Right.
You just have to.
Or praise a guru. You just have to. It just happens. It's a grace.
It's grace.
It's
Grace. But that grace is accelerating.
It's
Yes,
accelerating.
to many individuals,
Yeah.
I mean, a good chunk of humanity.
Yeah.
Right. And you were seeing that and when you held that vision, Ali, what did you see? Like, how is this going to happen to everybody around the planet?
It was more like a sense of knowing in my heart. It wasn't like I had specific details that I was seeing. It was like a deep sense of knowing in my heart that, because at the time, you know, some of my closest family would say, I think you're special. And I said, I don't think I'm special. I think that this is going to happen to everybody.
And is it happening? Are you seeing it happen? Where?
It is happening.
How?
Well, for example, through the work of Paul,
Paul Selig.
Paul Selig is the channel that actually dictated the book, I Am the Word, which is the book I had my awakening through. And Abdi, who actually is who Val had her energetic activation through.
And then John of God, that I think is an amazing
there's some
energetic
amazing
being.
energetic energy happening out there. And
So it's happening to people, you're saying?
It's a new wave. It's a new
It's
wave.
a wave.
yeah,
It's a wave.
they're coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that actually are awake and have these superhuman powers. I mean, we all have these superhuman powers. It is natural to be superhuman. We're not just human. That's what I keep telling people. You are
beyond,
not.
right.
We are all psychic. We are all intuitive. We all have the ability to remote view and levitate.
Right, and
We just
activate
didn't
and
know.
heal.
Yes.
Well, tell us like, well, what you started to see were lights, and then we'll go to, but tell us what you started to happen to you, like physically. What was your symptoms?
Oh yeah. Well, it started with the energy, and then lights, visuals.
What did you see exactly?
I was seeing. Well, probably one of the first things was auras.
You started to, and you didn't know what that was, huh?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
You saw auras too in your awakening?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can.
You can anytime.
Yeah.
Well, it was like this unfolding. So I'd be, in my living room doing this energy stuff, and the whole room would just like go into this whole multi-dimensional space almost.
Just by doing what kind of energy stuff? Can you activate yourself like Val?
Yeah.
Can you try it?
It's a little different for me.
Well, can we see it?
No.
Don't put it on the spot.
Why? You don't have to do it, but why? Is it too like personal?
No,
or?
it's not that it's too personal. I just want to talk about it
Okay.
more than.
To demonstrate. Well, because I think people. But anyway.
There's videos of me out there.
Okay.
There
all right.
is.
Actually, yeah. So, but no, tell us what happened as you start. What was the
So
symptom?
then the visuals started opening up, or the third eye started opening up, where you start seeing auras, you start seeing things on a multi-dimensional level.
Yes.
Lights around people, that's a big one that starts happening that I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing out there right now, especially a lot of young people. As you're raising in frequency, you begin to have these multi-dimensional experiences where your ears start to ring.
Yes.
You start seeing lights around people. You start seeing people's auras. You start intuitively connecting through your dream patterns, through your hearing.
So dreaming becomes more real.
Oh
more,
yeah, lucid dreaming,
Lucid
out-of-body
dreaming, absolutely.
dreaming.
For you too,
Oh,
body.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So what can we do now that would like start to awaken people, or just listening to this? You think is awakening people? I mean.
Yeah, I don't think we have to do anything.
Okay,
I
thank you.
think that we just have to invite people to the party.
Yes.
It's a party, right?
I love parties.
These are not old
These are party girls.
And they're having a new,
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
and you're having a new party here.
We're
Yeah.
having a new party.
Wilder than anybody. Well,
Every single day is, full of wonder and magic. It's mystical. There's new things happening
Yes.
all the time. And trust me, this work does come with some challenges.
like what?
Absolutely.
Well, tell us.
A reckoning with yourself.
Like the personality.
Yeah.
With yourself and with others.
But tell us
Yeah.
what happens in that
Facing
reckoning.
your fears.
Yes.
Dismantling the fear-based structures that are a part of your personality. And when you go to face those fears, you learn how attached you are to them.
Right.
And you're put in a situation where you have to let go of them.
Absolutely.
It's almost divine in the experiences that you
Yes.
call forth into your life. You're put in a situation where it's like, okay, I've got to face these fears. I've got to let go of my attachments, right?
Yeah, your whole life becomes like synchronistic. Like everything is like, oh, I ended up there and I met this guy and and this happened. Like, but everything happens like for a reason. Everything seems spiritual. That's the whole point.
And so how do you go back into the material world,
Right.
be functional, and maybe not have the same life, but how do you, the world is materialistic.
Right.
How do you go back?
Yeah, it's hard.
Well,
It was hard for me. I had a business where I had a social network, and I would throw parties and charities and all kinds of things, but it was very much like materialistic. People were drinking, partying, and then I ejected from that. I left my whole company.
You left your company.
I left everything. I left, I had a TV show. I didn't even care that it went under. I just didn't care. I just thank God. I don't want any of this.
You wanted to get out of the material world.
Yes, I left New York City.
Uh-huh.
I moved into the country.
And Ali, you left your job too.
Yeah, I really struggled with my whole experience because, here I am having this massive awakening in something that I didn't even know existed.
Wow.
And was pushing the boundaries of what I knew as reality, and I'm going to work every day in the corporate fashion world.
It didn't make sense at all.
It didn't make sense at all. And it was,
I would have a meeting, and I was in Google, and we would sit down, and I would be up here. I'm sitting, but my consciousness is up here, so I would hear everything like this, wah, 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 and I'm like, oh my God, where am I?
But are things still like
Well,
awakening?
it's funny because that whole process for me
Yeah.
of having that difficult experience was actually really good.
Yes.
Why was it good?
Because I learned about myself.
I was just going to say that. I learned to be me.
And you learned what energy is too, right?
More than energy, because I realized that I was in a place that I didn't even want to be,
Right.
and that I was living this life that I never really wanted to live.
You mean the materialistic?
But not only that, I had built my whole life based in fear and based in insecurity.
But most people live that way, right?
Most people live that way. But this was the difficult part, is that I was now in this situation at this job that I didn't like, living this life that I didn't want to live, that I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get out of this situation.
Right.
And I learned how to stand in my own worth.
You did. That's and how do you mean? Explain that.
I learned that I was worthy of a life that I wanted to live.
But everyone is. They just don't know it.
Everybody is. We're all worthy of this. It's our natural inheritance. It's our God-given birthright.
Is it possible to have a world where, like, you guys have awakened, to have a world awakened?
Yes, but it has to be
it?
completely different.
How?
This whole monetary system, how we use money to buy things, and how everyone's rich, poor, middle class, that all has to go away.
Yeah.
We all have to be...
Systems of hierarchy.
But
system of hierarchy, president of the United States, that all has to go away.
But that shouldn't be in the way of, like, your awakening. You've had these awakenings.
I mean, the way I deal with it, is I'm going to be me. I will still wear dresses and makeup and jewelry. I will still do my hair. I'm not going to be this hippie who's just, dancing around and, that's not me. This is me. And if you don't like it, you're going to judge me for being me, then go away.
Right.
But
something's happened to you. You're awake beyond anything you knew before.
I don't have to live in a cave and wear beads around my neck and do mantras all day long. I don't have to do that. I don't have to go in samadhi. I am in samadhi. This is my samadhi. This reality is the samadhi. If you can see that with your 2 eyes, 3 eyes, then you can have a whole different reality of your reality.
Your reality is your perception.
Yes. So a lot of people have a hard time balancing, their job and their spirituality. So they kind of separate the two. Like they go to their yoga class and then they go to work and act like a jerk. No. You have to bring in that yoga person into the office. If you're doing work in there, why isn't it going into that kind of work? You don't have to be a jerk in your life to get ahead.
So we could bring this infused energy back into the world and have a different awakened society. I mean, that's what we're here doing right now, all of us. So what do we need to do next? What's the next step? I mean, we just wait for grace to come along?
You mean to help other people?
Yes.
Well, that has been a big part of my evolution, is going from standing in my worth and learning about my own worth into service to humanity. And this is huge for people like us sitting here right now.
I call myself a servant.
Yes, because we've been blessed and we have an obligation right now. And that
you feel you have
absolutely. I absolutely have an obligation
to
serve. And how I serve is my expression of myself.
Right. That is beautiful. But and we'll get into. But I also want to know: do you feel there's more to be awakened in you? Like now, maybe you're just at the tip of the iceberg or the first rung.
I know that there's more to come.
And I know you don't know it, but what would it look like? What do you envision the future
that's
for
funny,
your awakening?
Alan, because oftentimes I say to myself, who am I? How did I get here? Because I don't know what lies in the future. I know I'm in the process of a massive transformation.
And you're in it right now.
And
you're in it right now too.
And it's happening.
And the unfoldment is happening. We are witnessing an unfolding.
And all I know is I'm willing to go into the unknown.
You are.
Yes.
Because what about your personality? What about the fear? What about all that?
That's what I have to work with every day, is just managing that. And
does it come up still?
It still comes up for me. Yeah.
What, like, oh no, something new, I'm feeling...
Insecurities, oh, what about the
And
future?
how do you get through it?
Well, for me, when I went through so much of that every single day for at least a year. I was hit with Kundalini every single day of my life.
Like that shaking and like bouncing off the floor.
Every single day. And, it's not just, people think, oh, what do you get out of that? Just shaking. It recalibrates your whole body.
And you're sending out energy. I feel it.
Well, you send out energy, but that's not really important. What's important is what you're doing, you're healing yourself. Physically, you're healing your mind, which is a big one. That's the major shift in people. Like, the first thing to get is to get their minds clear. That's how you get Kundalini, is when you have a clear mind.
But you didn't have a clear mind.
You can say that, but maybe I did.
Maybe you did, or maybe we were just ready. But imagine the whole planet at one point, boom, they're having these experiences.
Well, I have to say.
Yes.
Someone who has a spontaneous Kundalini awakening doesn't have that much programming. Mm-hmm. That's where it really comes down to. You
had freedom. You were creative. You were in the world. You didn't have a lot of restrictions.
Yes, I was. I wasn't attached to a certain religion. I wasn't attached to anything, actually. I was, into many things. I was very free within myself, but I had all these anxieties and fears and weighing me down. That was the major thing for me. I was very open-minded. I was open to anything. I went to a thing without even reading what the description was. I just ended up there because I had that soul intuition, and people have that. Everyone has that. It's just a matter of.
Well, that's why I do this program, because I want people to start to awaken to that thing beyond their personality.
Right.
And we all have that soul behind our personality, but how do we touch it? How do we realize that the habits of the personality are not who we really are? I mean, you had these really miracles in a sense. They're
miracles, but like I said, I believe that young people are waking up to this every single day, and I've actually I left my job, I left my career.
Right, you met somebody, you met somebody and had a child.
Yes.
And I met somebody
who got married.
Yeah, I got married, who's now my partner in work and my husband and my best friend.
And very open, I have to say, to everything that's happened. I mean,
very open.
I mean, you couldn't probably be with someone who wasn't.
No, very open.
And you too, very open to your partner's very open.
Definitely.
Yes.
And that's much needed. Actually, if you don't have that, then you will separate.
Well, you're fighting like who you really want to be, and you need the support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, support is important, but he had gone through a spiritual transformation of his own through a very turbulent life, and when we met, it was about 8 months into my awakening, and pretty much instantaneously, we knew we had come together for a higher purpose.
You knew it. Not just the relationship. It's like in the material world. In the material world, you come together because we're having a relationship, isn't it lovely? But when you guys, it's more like the Buddhist vow of the Buddha.
We knew that we had come together for a higher purpose.
And for the relationship as well. And you too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not an easy road. This awakening is not an easy road. We make it sound so easy, but it's not. There's so many issues with people, with your everything, with money coming in, with things being,
But
working.
Beyond all that, you have a bigger view of like there's something else happening here.
Yes, but beyond that, you kind of think, well, I guess that's how it's supposed to be. That's really what gets you through it. You're just like, okay, I guess that's what I'm supposed to experience. That's all that you can say.
Well, I want to check back in with both of you like in 6 months or 2 months to see because it's moving through you. Something's moving, and you are like the mouthpieces for the awakening of the planet.
Yes, and there's so many of us out there. There really is, and you just have to. It doesn't have to be us. It doesn't just have to be someone that you can relate to. Just go somewhere where it's uncomfortable.
It could be the guy picking up the garbage in the street. It could be someone in a store. It could be there are awakening people everywhere,
Yes.
and they might not even know. They might not even have the mindset or the vocabulary, but something's happening where they maybe are kinder, or they're maybe more loving, compassion. I think awakening is sweeping the planet. I'm hoping it. And then the opposite is also showing its head. You know, it's like that motion of awakening is bringing everything that's not out into the open, not about that. You know what I mean? So
you
the
mean
negative,
the surface of the darkness.
Yes,
surfacing.
Yes, that's what I
mean. It's happening. It happens on the individual level, and that's what Val and I are talking about with the awakening and the challenges and the reckonings and the facing of the fears. It's also happening on the collective level.
Absolutely.
I think it's amazing. It's a testimony to a new spiritual tradition that it just happened out of the blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been studying this stuff for 30 years.
Yeah.
Why isn't it happening to me?
Yeah, like I was saying, it's a new wave. It's a new wave, and you know.
Well, something's happening. Thank you.
Well, absolutely, it's happening without you even knowing it's happening. That's the beauty of it.
But it is a new wave hitting, and I think it is like I've met this young guy Javier. All of a sudden, he was in the military, and all of a sudden, there's things about light and spouting out. Or this woman who was a nurse I met, who's like suddenly she's waking up. You should meet these people because they are newly awake. We should have a little club.
It's happening. It's happening.
But that's the thing. I don't want to create a club. I want it to be everywhere. It should be easy. It should be accessible to the masses, to everyone. Everyone should know about this because it's not. Because it could happen to you.
And it will happen to you.
And that actually, I just have to say on that point, that's actually what me and my partner are doing with our company is...
Talk about your company.
You keep asking, what are we supposed to do? And that's really what I've dedicated my life to, and my partner has dedicated his life to.
Talk to that camera and tell us.
So... he also, like me, went through a spiritual transformation and knew he had to serve. And I had found this amazing energy, and I knew it was going to wake up masses of people. So we came together, and we really co-created a dream together. And that dream is to basically bring people together and
with speakers and lectures
with progressive, cutting edge, out of the world healers, teachers, channels, writers, people that are really tapping into the unknown that young people are eager for, but they don't have access to.
Great. Yeah. And what is that website, and how can people find out about that?
It's www.podelagency.com.
Podel, P-O-D-E-L-L,
podelagency.com. We have many events coming up, so you can check out all of our events on our website, but it's really amazing. Our tagline's consciousness is the new rock and roll, because I
love it.
that it really is the new rock and roll.
So Val, what about you?
I do sessions online and in person. I'm going to be at the Awaken Fair in Tarrytown. I'm a guest speaker.
Great.
And also I'm having a retreat this May in the Catskill Mountains. So
how can people find you?
Yeah, you can go to my website. It's valsecrets.com. It's that simple.
valsecrets.com. I'm Alan Steinfeld. Can we leave them with a little zap? Can we just zap?
Sure.
Okay, you ready?
I'm just going to
blow
into this.
Zap you too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for your, being so open to share your story. It shows me that what I envisioned is possible for a world to wake up can happen.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
I've been talking to Val and Ali Storm, and I'm Alan Steinfeld for Newrealities. And if you want to reach me, go to my website, newrealities.com, or email me at newrealities.com. Thanks for watching.